Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day. Jennifer is grateful for the opportunity to educate, empower, and inspire you with powerful conversations, insights, and new viewpoints. Here's your host, Jennifer J. Hammond.
Today, we have a very special guest who is, I'm not even going to spoil her story. So this is Theresa Goss. Welcome. Yay!
How do you not start your day fantastic when you hear Jennifer go, hello, 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 you know it's a great day. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I'm so excited to have you because obviously I've had the pleasure of being on your show. So now we get to turn it around and I get to talk about you. You get to talk about you. I'm so interested in you sharing your story. And one of the reasons I don't like to read a long bio or anything of that nature is because I think it's so important to hear it from your lips on your life story. And yours is very special because you've often said to me that, you were in Chicago and you probably would have ended up on the wrong side of life, so to speak, in a gang and doing, not really good things if you hadn't made certain choices. So let's go back to there. And will you talk about your early beginnings and some of the choices you made that changed your life?
Well, I mean, the major choice that I made was when I graduated high school, I joined the Navy, and that took me out of that environment entirely. So that helped a lot. But before that, I actually started my first business when I was 10. So that gave me a whole new perspective on life because, my family didn't start businesses. They weren't entrepreneurs. They were workers. My dad worked in the steel mill. My mother was a seamstress in a sweat factory. It was not the greatest thing in the world. They actually were sharecroppers. My dad from Mississippi, my mom from Arkansas, and they migrated to Chicago when they were young. They were teenagers. I remember the story my mother telling me that the very first job she ever had was sewing the soles onto military army boots for World War II. So, that's the kind of life that they were used to. So when I came up and said I wanted to, start a business and I want to, see the world, and, that was just completely outside their spectrum. They're like, what are you talking about? Just make it safe to the bus stop and get to your job and come home, So those were the changes that really kind of steered my way.
And thank you for your service. I'm so grateful for all that you've done. And I know that you are disabled veteran now, right?
Yeah, I was in the Philippines. I went in as a non-designated seaman, and trust me, this is not something you want to do if you're joining the military. You definitely want to have a job. But I was so excited about going, and the job I wanted to do. Originally, I had gotten accepted into the Air Force Academy. And they told me I couldn't go for almost another year. And they said, it's, school year. You missed the school year. You got to wait till next. And I didn't want to wait because I figured a year of just doing nothing and hanging out and I don't know, maybe working at McDonald's or something was just not going to be what I wanted to do. So I, went across the hall to the Navy recruiter because I always loved the Navy and said, what can you do for me? And he said, well, if you go in as a non-designated seaman, you can leave in less than 2 months and then they'll figure it out. And when your time for you to go to the Air Force Academy comes up, they'll transfer you over. Well, let me tell you, recruiters are like used car salesmen. They'll tell you anything to get you just signed because they make commissions.
They'll tell you anything. You're not the first person to tell me that.
Yeah, they'll tell you anything. And I was all excited and yeah, my letter came from the Air Force Academy. I'm literally living in the Philippines by this time. And I'm like, I'm out of here, suckers. This is it. And then they told me, yeah, Air Force doesn't take prior Navy. You're not going anywhere. And I'm like, no, my recruiter said, and they were like, you listen to your recruiter? What is wrong with you? So I joined as a non-designated seaman. I ended up being a boat coxswain for an 8-boat and a 6-boat. And the best way to describe these is when you watch war movies, you see the boat go ashore and then the gate goes down and the Marines come running off with their tanks. Well, those are the boats that I worked on.
Wow.
And I was the lowest ranked person on my boat, and we were in the Philippines. Philippines have typhoons, very high wave typhoons, where these big metal, just iron tanks on water would literally stand up from the waves. They were so high. So what they would do is tell the lowest ranked person, there's a little catwalk, it's about a foot wide, and they tell you to walk the catwalk, cleat in. So that means wrap your cleat around a rope, basically around you and the cleat. And you sit there on the you straddle the catwalk so that the captain can see whether to go port or starboard, because he can't see anything because the boat is literally doing this. And you've got screaming Marines and their families and stuff, because you picked them up on an island somewhere. They were on vacation and they're going, what's going on? It's just kind of nuts. So you're up there. Well, one time I was out there and we hit a really bad wave and I flipped over and they thought I was gone. They had already called it in. They figured they would find my body on shore somewhere, in a couple of days when the storm was over, because there was no way to come out and get me. So when we got to shore and got back to base, they, offloaded everyone. And then I started screaming, yo, and they looked and my captain said, Goss, really? Are you just gonna hang there? And I'm like, are you serious? Because I just spent, I don't know how much time, well over 45 minutes, just flipping around, banging against this boat and praying for my life. And when I got off of there, I had chipped the edges of my kneecaps from hitting the wall, and I cracked one kneecap. And so they had to do a partial knee replacement on my right knee before I left the Philippines, because I would literally walk and then out of nowhere it would just go out and I'd go straight down a ladder or something. So they partially replaced my right knee. And then when I got to Virginia for my next station, they did my left. So I have artificial knees thanks to that. So that's what makes me a disabled vet. And that has been 30 years or so ago. So now they want to do it again. And I'm like,
You're already the bionic woman.
The knees back then were only supposed to last for 15 years. They told me that. They said in 15 years, you're going to have to redo them. And well, now it was 1983. So it's almost 40 years. 1983 and 1984. So it's almost 40 years. And they're going, you've got to get these things replaced. So that's what got me into boxing. That's what got me into trying to get weight off of them, because the lighter I can get, the longer I can go, because they told me that your body only has enough bone to do your knee replacements twice. So if these wear out again, then they have to take my legs. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm trying to make this, they said, try to get it to extend into your 60s. So I'm trying to get these to last for like another 10 years.
Wow. And you are the bionic woman now. You have all your bionic parts. Oh my gosh. Wow. So I wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk about you now, after your service, you went ahead and you loved being behind the camera, because you love to, and you affectionately call yourself a tech nerd, but you came out from behind the camera and now you host Expert Talk with TGO. So first of all, of course, we have to figure out, how did you go from Theresa Goss to TGO? But then also let's talk about how you came out from behind the camera and you're now hosting your own show.
Well, that's funny. 2006, 2007, a good friend of mine had a flip phone. I don't know if you guys remember those, but you flip them up. There was no keyboard, none of this thumb stuff. And all you had was your regular keypad to put in people's names in your directory. So my good friend was not typing Theresa Goss. She put in TGO and my phone number. And we were out one day and she was saying, oh yeah, Tigo's going to do this and Tigo's going to do that. And I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, we're doing that. And who's this Tigo person? They can't come. I only have 2 tickets. And she went, I said, who's Tigo when they left? I said, I don't have a ticket for them. She said, really? For real? Theresa Goss, Go. I'm not typing all that. And I went, that's so cool. She said, it's a gift to you, honey. You can keep it. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. So that's how TGO got started. It was literally her being lazy and not wanting to type my name. But it turned out to be fantastic.
It stuck for sure, because now it's even in the title of your TV show.
It's in the title of my TV show. It is.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Expert Talk with Tigo.
Well, Expert Talk with Tigo, I've been asked for years to host my own show. My specialty is pretty much talk shows. I've done a little bit of everything, but I've been doing talk shows for 18 years as a producer, as a director. And for 5+ years, people have said, you should host your own show. Stop teaching other people, go out there and do it yourself. And I'm like, no, I come in my regular t-shirt and shorts, and I get behind the camera and let the fancy people do the fancy stuff. And they were like, no, you need to host, you need to host. So in December of 2019, I had this idea about Expert Talk because there's kind of a threshold. You have the superstar entrepreneurs like Oprah and blah, blah, blah. And then you have, the corporate entrepreneurs that pretty much aren't worried about public because they have corporate clients. That's all they care about. And then there's, the solopreneurs, the entrepreneurs, the small businesses that need to get their message out and have amazing stories of how they start their business, where they came from, what they're doing. Some of these guys have gone from 0 to literally being a billionaire, and you want to get those stories. So I said, okay, I'm going to talk to experts. I'm going to call it Expert Talk with Tigo. We're going to talk about trailblazing ideas and how they did it and their journey and their struggle. And we started production in January of 2020. We got 4 shows in the can. We started airing in February, and then COVID hit.
And then life changed.
And then life changed. It's kind of like before COVID, after COVID is what everybody's going to do from now on. So then COVID hit. So I called my television networks that I had contracts with and said, hey, it's me, Tigo. Yeah, on Saturday morning. So this COVID thing, it can't last more than a couple of weeks. I mean, the casinos are closing. They're not going to close more than 3 or 4 days. So what do we do? Should I just wait until this COVID thing is over and then we'll start up again? Or how does this work? And they went, we don't care how long COVID is going. You have a contract, so we can air the same 4 episodes until COVID is over, or you can figure out how to get us new content. And I thought, well, it can't last for more than a couple of weeks, so I'll wait. And then my business partner said, what happens if this has, been going on in other countries for months now? What if this goes on for a few months? We need content. So we moved everything into my lovely guest room, and I became producer, director, host, water girl, editor, you name it, I do it. But it turned out to be the best thing that could have ever happened, because originally I was interviewing people when they came to Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas, so everybody comes to Vegas at some point. That was the plan. Go to the studio, get interviewed, you're here. But now, because we accelerated this whole virtual thing by 5 or 10 years, everybody's comfortable with what exactly we're doing now. So I'm interviewing people from all over the world. I'm speaking all over the world. It's definitely changed my life.
It's amazing how I believe what you said is so important. We're going to have the conversations about pre-COVID and then post-COVID, everything, because everything has changed. And I heard someone say recently, so when are we going to go back to what it was like before, or normal? And I use my air quotes, normal. What is normal? And I think we will never go back to the way it was. Just so much has changed, including how we do television and radio and podcasting and all of these. These are platforms that have been changed forever. They'll never, ever be the same. And I actually think it's great, because I feel like in some ways we've leapfrogged what might have taken us 10 years to get to. And even us, you as a host, me as a host, we have learned all sorts of new creative ways to solve whatever crazy problems or situations come up. And I'm going to count that as a blessing,
Yeah, me too. And I look at my grandson, and I think about my cousins. I have cousins that are younger than me, and I kind of helped raise them back in the day. And I remember one of them found my 8-track player and they ran it out to me and said it was broken because it had a hole in it. And I said, no, that's where the tape goes. Well, they knew nothing about 8-track players. And I think that a lot of things that before COVID was going on that will not come back the way they used to is how my grandson is going to see things. There's going to be a lot of things. You went to a movie theater. Why?
Yeah.
What did you do that for? I mean, you actually had people come into the studio and sit down and, and hang out and all. Why? What'd you do that for? Because it's not his normal, and the other side of it is for me and for some people that I've talked with, it's like the biggest thing about COVID is that we're fighting an enemy we can't see.
Yeah.
And it immediately makes you think about, well, what other enemies can't we see? So yeah, there's vaccines going out and there's new strands of COVID coming in at the same time. So I think we're always going to be on guard now. I have family members that said, the apocalypse is going to come one day and you need to be prepared and we need to have, rations put away. And I thought, you are not, I'm not doing that. What is wrong with you? And then COVID hit and now I'm going, maybe we need to get some C rations. Maybe we need to have an extra savings on the side. Now all that stuff I thought was crazy, I'm going, we are fighting an enemy we cannot see. And being prior military, that messes with my psyche because, we can see the enemy, we can win the war.
Right.
We can't see this one. And people that I'm talking to on Monday, I'm seeing on Facebook announce they have COVID on Wednesday. Oh. And I'm going, wait a minute, I just interviewed them. I just talked to them. I just saw them. What happened? So and the side effects are starting to come out now. I've got a friend that's had it twice. She works in a hospital and she's not a first responder per se. She's admin. And she works in a hospital. She got it twice. And she never really got sick. But now she's having kidney problems, heart problems, lung problems. It's the after effects. So I think, we're going to be on guard for a long, long time to come.
Yeah. It's changed everything in such a profound way. And even like the way we do conferences. And I've had so many virtual conferences, not only the ones that I've put on, but also ones that I've attended, and I'm watching the technology change. And it's so interesting the way that we're finding ways to interact and oh my gosh, there's some very funny bloopers. We could go down a whole rabbit hole on that, but I want to shift gears before we run out of time and talk about this amazing network you have for outstanding women. So talk about Now for Life.
Now for Life, that's my legacy project, I believe. I'm one of those people. I've been to the 10,000 seat arenas. I've been to the 5,000 seat arenas. I've been on mega virtual conferences, and it's usually guys. There's a couple of women maybe on the panel list, but for the most part, it's usually guys. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then I go to a women's event, especially when we're doing live events, and it's at the Holiday Inn, down the hall, past the kitchen. Don't open the door on the left, it's the one on the right. And you go in, there's 18 women in there. It's a great event. There's 18 women in there. And there's, really bad coffee and stale donuts from the previous event is still there. And I thought, no, I want to honor women. I want to honor women. And I remember my mother has been gone now since 2007. And I remember my mom would, like some people take the month for their birthday. My mother took the week for Mother's Day. She was like, I've been dealing with you for a year. This is my week. So it ran for a week for Mom. She didn't have to do anything. And I said, what if we create an event that happens every year right after Mother's Day? And we honor moms, sisters, aunts, daughters that are really making a difference. So we're going to teach a little bit and show people, if you want to know how to start a business, if you want to know how to grow your business, we're going to teach a little bit. We got some amazing people coming in, including you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Coming in and going to share the journey, which is awesome. And then we're going to honor 6 women. We're honoring a rising star. We're honoring a trailblazer, you know, an influencer, a shero. This lady, my goodness, she's got a story, and retired Army officer, and just one of the biggest names on front of the stage. You know, she's coming in. We've got a Legends Award coming out for, and it literally is going to be given to the woman that got me into this production business in the first place. Legend Award is coming out. And then we've got Woman of the Year. So it's going to be fun. The award is really neat. It's something that I hope they want to keep forever. And, you know, we're going to share a little bit of their story, a little bit of their journey, just like, you know, Expert Talk, we share the trailblazing journey. And then hopefully when they say all clear and the flags come out and we can start doing live events again in 2025, I hope way before then. I'm kidding. But we start doing that. I want to put in, I'm in Vegas, man.
Yeah.
I want to put in a 10,000 seat arena and have women of all ages from 16 to 96 in that audience, just losing their minds with the most motivational event they've ever been to for women. It's time. And then we're creating a membership area where we're going to do monthly events. We're working on a tour right now so we can go out and hit 10 or 12 cities and let everybody meet some of these women that we're honoring. So it's a way for us to come together and a safe place for you to come in and say, what's an LLC? You know, because you just don't want to ask. You don't want to call an accountant. Do you call an accountant? Who do you call for something like that? Yeah, see? So now you'll be able to come into the group and ask the questions. You'll be able to come in. If you want to be an author, come in. We'll have people that can teach you how to do that. You know, if you want to do what we do and have your own show, we'll be there. We can answer those questions of how you get past the fear of that little red light.
Mine is green. I like it as green because green is go.
Go. Yeah, for you, of course. Yay. But green or red, either way it goes, you know, myself, Jennifer, and a couple of other really cool women can show you how to get past it. Because if you ever said to yourself, oh, if I could only clone myself, I could grow my business. Media never sleeps. This is how you clone yourself, is you get in front of a camera. Yeah. And we can show you how to do that. And you can be one of our sisters in Now for Life. So that's what Now for Life is. Yay! It's May 10th through the 12th. And I'll make sure that Jennifer gets the links and everything. It's a free event this year. Now, when we go into a live studio, we gotta, you know, I gotta pay for the arena, y'all. Come on. But for this year, we're valuing it at $97, but we're giving the tickets away because we want you guys to just come in and have a great time.
And do you have a link for that yet or not for them to register?
So I don't have that yet. We will have it in the next week or so. So I will make sure I get it to you and then they can sign up and be ready to rock.
Perfect. And we'll make sure we get that in all the different platforms that we have. And then also before we go off, because we're just about out of time, I wanted to ask you for people who want to watch or listen, because it's on both, you have also different platforms that you have Expert Talk. So will you talk about a little bit? I know that they can listen or they can watch it. So will you tell them how they can do that?
The easiest way to go to see it all or hear it all is just go to the website for the show, experttalk.fm. You'll also find information for Now for Life there once we post it. So experttalk.fm, you can listen there, you can watch there. It's on 50 plus platforms. So if you are a Pandora subscriber or iHeart, Amazon Prime, Amazon Fire, Amazon Music, we pretty much are on everything Amazon. I just realized that. Yeah, wow. Okay, iTunes, any of those platforms you're used to, follow me on Facebook, you know, Expert Talk with TGO on Facebook, or go to experttalk.fm. That's the best way to find me.
That's beautiful. Well, you know, I just personally adore you and I consider you part of my family.
I feel the same about you.
I think it's so, I just, you know, we're kindred spirits and I'm so glad we found each other and I can't wait to find every way that I can help lift you up. And I love your purpose for helping women, you know, come into their own as well as, you know, the many things you've done. And I thank you for your service in the military And thank you for making those choices to change your life, because boy, what a life you have, and you've contributed so much. So thank you. Thank you. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. And I just want people to know it's never too late. I'm 57 years old. You can do this at 15, at 30, at 60. It doesn't matter. Change your mind, change your life. That's what happens.
Absolutely. And as we go off air, I'm going to ask you if you will lift your voice with me and say, yay! So I'll do 3, 2, 1. Yay!
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And if you want more help in getting from where you are to where you want to be, I want to encourage you to listen to the Jennifer Hammond Show